Hi, good evening everyone. I hope all of us are doing well. Okay, so this video is basically a continuation of our previous video where we discussed, where I'll say we revised what we have gone through in few of our previous sessions, and this video is just a continuation to it. So, and this is specifically based on what we did yesterday and what we are going to go do ahead today for our sixth session. Okay, so yesterday was again just a continuation of the fields part. What are fields? What are different types of field, and what exactly is a data type? Okay, so it's the same thing. So if I want to create a new field, I can go to the object, and then in the object we can go to fields and relationships, and here we get all the different fields what we have for this particular object. If we want to create something, we can go ahead and create a new field. And how do we create a new field? There's a button called as new here. So we click on new, and here we get the options of different data type we want. Okay, so data type basically defines what kind of information we want to put in. For example, if I select date and time, okay, and then I click on next. uh, let's give it name as date time 1. Okay, here we can provide the description. If I want to give a help text for people to understand why this field is used for. If I make it as required, means if I require make this field as required. Until unless we provide this information, the person or the user will not be able to save the record. So accordingly, if it is really required, if it is really needed, this information to be there for any record to be created, we'll make it as required. Otherwise, we'll leave it. So it totally depends on what our need is. Then we click on next, and here we decide for what different profiles we want it to be. Okay, and if I just want to be visible, or if I just want it to be read only basically is it will be visible, but it will be in a read only format, means nobody will be able to edit it. Okay, and we can decide for which profile I want to. For this particular profile I want it to be read only, so the profile, whatever users we have in this particular profile, will never be able to edit. Okay, so accordingly we can decide what we need. Okay, so we'll go click on next, and here we get the option of page layout. Page layout basically is what the different layouts we have. For different teams we can have multiple layouts. If we have two different teams, say A and B, and both are using account object. Okay, so it's not really necessary. For if account we have 50 different fields, or both the team really need all the fields to use. So whatever is really necessary for team A will be using those fields, and what is necessary for team B will be using those fields. So it's really not important for team A to see the fields what team B has. Okay, so it keeps again a kind of security as well, and it removes extra field from the page. So to do that, we can decide a page layout accordingly. So the next topic, which we have already discussed as well yesterday, we'll cover it here today as well. What are page layouts? But here again, when we create a field, we decide if I want this field on whatever page layouts we want to put it in. So here for accounts we have different kind of layouts. So there are different layouts, and we can decide if I want my field to be present on that layout or not. So once we decide, for now I'm just not selecting any particular one. We'll select all, and then we can click on save. And this is the field we created, date type 1, and the data type is date and time. Okay, let's quickly get back to my record page. I hope I don't face the similar issue what I was facing yesterday. I think yes, I am facing it. Okay. Maybe because I'm still using the older instance, but for our session specifically I have created a new instance where I'll be doing the rest of our sessions on the new one. Okay, so similar to this, so this is something which we made yesterday and we were not able to see it. Now if you see, there was no such issue. I just logged off and logged in and it was here. And I think similarly for this particular field which we created, date and time as well, it is a similar issue. Once I log off and log in, I can see it here. Okay, I can see it on the page layout. Okay, so here if we see, these are two fields. This is the pick list which we created yesterday, and this is the roll up summary field which we have created. Okay, so yeah, two more things which we need to discuss it here, two more data types basically, and that is, first thing is the pick list data type. Okay, so let me again take you to the object manager, and if I am here, let me take any other object, let's say opportunity object. I go to field and relationships, and if I want to create a pick list field for it, a new pick list field for it, I'll just go ahead and create the option, select the option pick list. Pick list basically give you a series of options, whatever we want to select. Multi-select pick list means we can select multiple options out of the given options. That's the only difference. So let's create a simple pick list. We'll go click on next, and here we can decide what are the fields we want. What is the field name actually? Let's give it a sample pick list. Okay, here we have two options. If I want to enter the values manually, I can enter it here. If I want to use a global picklist value, we can use this. Okay, what is the difference? What is the use of it? Global picklist value kind of gives you an extra kind of usability to things. That is, if I have created a global picklist value, I can use it at multiple places. I can use it at different places for different objects to create a picklist field. Okay, for example, if rating is one of let's take a simple example. I created a global picklist value called as rating, and the rating is 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so that is something I can use on any object. Okay, which is not very particular to one specific object. Okay, so that is when we create a global picklist value, and if you want to enter it manually, we can do that as well. Okay, so here we can give the values accordingly. Let's take anything: 1 2 3 4 5 X, and we can go on whatever we want. And then we have this option called as display value alphabetically. If we have something in the alphabet, if you want to display it alphabetically, you can select this. If you want the first value, that 1 as the default value, even if the user don't select anything, 1 will be the default value. So you can select this option, and then you can do description, help text. If you want to make it as required, you can do that, and then we click go to next. And again the same thing, the profile which we want it to be in, and then the next part would be the page layout we want it to be. Okay, and we can go ahead and save it accordingly. Okay, but we see a button here called as save and new. Save and new basically is, if I have 5 different fields to create, I don't really have to save it and then again go back to fields and relationship and then click on new. If I click on save and new, it will save this field and then again take me to a page where I can create a new field. Okay, so I'll let me quickly click on save and new, and directly brought me to this page. I have already created that field. That field is created, and now again I'm back here. So if I want to create multiple fields, I can use this option. Okay. Now the second part is, how do we create a use a global picklist value set. So if I select a picklist set, and there's something called as global picklist set. So how do we do that? So for that, we need to create a global picklist value, which we have to create under homes. We go in the setup, we go to homes, and we go to select global, picklist value sets. We have an option called as picklist value sets. We come here and then we create a new picklist value set. These are the picklist value sets which I have created. I can use this picklist value set for any object. Doesn't matter whatever object I'm using. If that is applicable to that object, we can use it. So if I go ahead and create this new sample picklist value. Okay, and values are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then okay. If I want to display it alphabetically, I can do that. Okay. And if I want the first value 1 to be a default value, we can select accordingly. But right now we are not doing that. So right when we have created this global pick list value set, we'll just go ahead and save it. And now we have a set of global value where these are the values. Okay. And if I want to use for any object, and again I'll take you to the object manager. Let's take go to account object, and if I want to create a new field that is of a type pick list. Pick the list. Now instead of providing values manually, I'll use a global pick list set. So here we can select this is the sample pick list values we have created, and once we create this, we'll get all the values here. Okay, and sample pick list set 2. Any name I'm giving it here. And then what are the visible lines we want to have? Visible lines are basically if here we just have 3 options, but in case we have 20 different options, we don't really want it to go this long. So okay, so we can decide what till what options we will get it, and then we'll scroll it accordingly. Okay, something similar to this. We can, these are the 4 visible lines, and then we can scroll it down. Okay, so we'll go to here, and then we'll, based on our need, I'll just go and select if it is required or not, and we'll go to next, make it visible for all. Go to next, save it. Okay, now we have created a new field. Okay, yes. Yeah, thank God that we have the sample pick list value set. Okay, so this is the global pick list value. If I select this, again I think this is something I'm facing because of I think this may be because of I need to log off and log in once again, and I'll be able to see it. Okay, so this is basically how we create a pick list value set. Let's see if I can do that. Okay, please go ahead and log off. I'm sure we'll be able to see it now, and let me quickly take you to accounts. Yes, see here, see here, we are able to see the pick list value set, and we can decide what is the sample pick list value we want to use. Okay, so this basically is a global pick list value which we have created, and this can be used for any object, for instance, not just for any particular object. Something we create manually will just be used for that particular object, and won't be used for other object. That is how we create a global pick list value. Okay, and the last part which we'll cover in this session is what exactly are roll-up summary fields. Okay, and roll-up summary fields basically is gives you an option to create fields. And the most basic and most simple example to explain this is if we have a parent object and we have a child object, where example where account is a parent object and opportunities are child object to it. So an opportunity have a field called as amount. Okay, so here if I take you to any opportunity field, in opportunity there's something called as amount, and what I want to see the sum of all the opportunities amount on our account page into one field. Okay, I can do that using a functionality or a way, and that is called as roll up summary fields. We can create a field for that. And how do we do that? In when we go to accounts, we have an option over here under fields and relationships, and we go and click a new one. We get an option called as roll up summary fields. So let's name it sample roll up summary, and then we'll go to next, and this will give us an option to select what is for which object I want to summarize it for. Okay, in our case let's take it opportunity, and here we have four different options. We have count, we have sum, we have minimum, and we have maximum. We can decide for which functionality we want to use it. Okay, right now in our case we are just using it for sum. Okay, if I want to count something, let's use it for count. Okay, and we'll be counting how many records do we have for opportunities on any particular account. Okay, we are using it for count, and for that we don't really need a field to aggregate because we are not using any particular specific field to get the value. Okay, and then we'll click on next, and click on next, and all the other steps are same. Okay, and if I go here, again the same problem, but I promise you to show this field when we do our session today. Okay, and yeah, this is what completes the data type part of fields. But again we have other data types which going forward we will learn, which is not really necessary to go right now for. And the second part, and one of the important part of the basics, is what are page layouts. Here we are, we can see to this account object which we are creating a record for, we have we can see different fields, and this is basically what a page layout is. A page layout is basically is a place where we put our fields based on our need. So again the same example, if we have four different teams, and which are using one particular object, we can decide which person or which team or which user will be able to see one particular field. Maybe that field is not really necessarily important for the other one. Okay, and we can decide it through page layout. We'll add or remove the field accordingly for that profile or for that particular user. Okay, so how do we create a new page layout? Again, when we go to here in the object manager, when we take the account object, after this field and relationship, we see something called as page layouts. Okay, to create a page layout, we just click on new page layout, and we want to clone a existing page layout. This is what I'll say is the best practice to clone existing page layout, and that gives us all the basic features, not basic features, the standard features, whatever we have for this particular page layout, for this master layout. Okay, and then we'll just name it. Let's name it layout. Now it will ask for what are the different profiles I want it for. Okay, no, it will directly take us to because I believe we have cloned from one particular layout. Then I think it will take all the properties from there itself. Okay, so how exactly page layouts look like? Okay, so here we have all the fields what we have added here. So accordingly, we can if we don't need some particular field, we can add and remove here. So if I want to remove all these fields, we can remove all these fields. Okay, and these fields won't be available. Okay, and if I want to add something, we'll just drag and drop it here. That how we add and remove fields in a page layout. We have multiple other things here. We have buttons, custom links, and quick actions, but again we are not really discussing it right now. Maybe going ahead we'll discuss it, but for now we are just skipping it. And yeah, one more thing, when we create any object, we can see multiple things here. We have record pages, button link actions, custom layouts, field sets, but for now we are skipping these. What are the more important, we'll discuss this. We will discuss that, because what I believe is our main focus is to understand what is really necessary for us, at least for now. And then going forward, if with respect to the major outline, I believe of this these sessions are to use our platform in a better way. Okay, so not really all the things what we have here are very important. Maybe it may be used somewhere, but for now I don't think these are very important topics to discuss. If in case going forward we really need it, we'll go forward and learn it, one thing. And the second part of it is uh, there's a sequence to learning things. If I just take right away what are lightning record pages, link actions, it will maybe it bounce be above the head. So these things will be covered later on if really necessary. We'll cover these parts later. Okay, for now, but the most important part are field relationship, page layouts, and today we'll be discussing about record types. Okay, so this basically summarizes what we learned in the previous session, and what's going to be in our today's session, or in our next session. And that's basically is we'll understand a functionality called as field dependency, one thing. And field dependency basically is if I want to control one field using another field, so we can use field dependency there. Then we'll understand what exactly is a record type, and then we'll understand what are apps, a basic understanding of apps, what does app mean. Okay, and we have already looked into tabs, and I think that will give us most of the basic introduction what are required, or the building blocks of Salesforce. And then directly we will move to the data security in Salesforce. Okay, and then we will try to learn what are profiles and records, sorry, profiles and role and profiles. These are two things we'll try to see what exactly is a role and what exactly are profiles. Okay, so yeah, that's all for today. And yes, let's meet on today's session, and we'll discuss more about all the things in a detailed manner. So yeah, thank you so much guys, take care.